So you own an Audi TT Mark 1 and potentially a rare colour like my new to me 3.2 V6 in Papaya. But how many of these cars were made for the UK market? I'm Andy and this video is all about how do I find out how many of my particular Audi TT coloured cars were made for the UK. Now we know there are many common colours of the Audi TT Mark 1 in the UK, and possibly one of the most common colours is light metallic silver. However, there are a range of factory order only colours that were available throughout the Audi TT model production. And I know for the number of papaya orange TTs I have seen in the UK over the time I've been creating content on this channel, there must have been very few of them created in the first place. Papaya orange wasn't the only special order factory colour, and there were a few others, to name just a few, such as the Imola Yellow, the Merlin Purple and the Violet or Berry. There's also a gold car that I've seen around the UK also. So how do you find out the numbers of the special order cars that were made for the UK? Well, that information is a little bit trickier to get hold of than you may think. Total numbers of Audi TTs produced for the UK market are widely bandied around, and I'll put those figures up just here. However, it gets a little bit more tricky when you're trying to find out individual colours and models. I looked extensively online and there was just no detail around or any reliable information. So my first port of call was to email UK Audi customer services. I sent them a nice email, and I also thought I would double down here and email Audi TT customer services in Germany using Google Translate to take my email and translate it into German. Now surprisingly, the UK came back very quickly and essentially said they can't help me because that information is only available at the factory and they don't have those figures. Now I know from my actual career, which is based in IT, that information, and particularly management information on stats and figures, is vitally important to your job. And I would have thought that Audi's marketing team would have been very interested to know what colours sell well and what colours do not sell so well. So I would have thought that information must be available somewhere. Now, despite UK customer services telling me the information wasn't available, surprisingly later that afternoon I had a phone call from Germany, from a great English speaking representative from the Germany customer services. And they told me if I sent them my VIN number for this vehicle, they would be able to provide me the information from the factory. Now that was welcome news to me, so I quickly popped out to the car, jotted the VIN number down and sent that off in an email. A few days passed and I heard no more information about my Papaya Mark 1. But then I got a surprise email from UK customer service. And within that email, it had some information that really cheered me up, because it had the total number of Papaya orange cars that were built for the UK market. But what I learned from the information I provided, they were very precise in the model and make and colour of car that they responded on. Now that email told me there were a total of 42 cars produced for the UK market. 42 in total, of which 39 of these were a V6 coupe with a DSG gearbox. In fact, the email states all cars have a DSG gearbox. Statement, I took it that of the 42 cars, 39 of them were V6s, and possibly there are 3 cars out there that are 225. But all of the Papaya orange 3.2s are a DSG. No, that is factually incorrect, because I'm well aware, thanks to my friend Alex, that he owns a factory standard 3.2 V6 in Papaya with a manual gearbox. Also from that email, it suggests all cars are coupes. So we're talking now about the 42 cars, 39 are the DSG 3.2 V6 coupe. So does that mean those 3 cars are either the 225 or are they roadsters? Because I know for a fact there is also at least one 3.2 V6 Papaya Roadster in existence today. And that car belonged to Bryn from BWSTT, and it now belongs to its new owner. I was fortunate enough to get in touch with the new owner, Nicola, and she was able to provide me the VIN number for that car also. So that got me thinking about these three particular cars. So I reached out to a few other people, including breakers, and they told me they had broken a Papaya Roadster, and also that they were aware of someone else that owned another Papaya Roadster, not just the one that Nicola owns. So there's three that we're aware of at least, and that doesn't factor in this manual V6. Now, the Papaya Coupe is not everyone's taste, I know, but for me, I think it's a wonderful colour, and I've had some really great feedback on it already. But as I mentioned, there are many other special order colours for the Audi TT Mark 1 throughout its life. So what is your favourite colour? Why don't you leave me a comment below and tell me what's your favourite special order colour? In fact, if you own one, why don't you think about getting in touch with Audi yourself and finding out just how many were produced for the UK market, and perhaps drop me a message with that information. So I sent off VIN numbers for the Papaya Roadster that we talked about, and also sent off the VIN for the manual 3.2 V6. Over the next few days, there was some toing and froing between myself and Audi because the information that was coming back was very cryptic. It didn't give me a clear indication. A bit like that initial email that told me there was 39 V6 coupes with a DSG. It didn't sort of elaborate what the other three were. And I understand now why they do so, because if you provide them your VIN number, they will only tell you the make, model, version of your engine, your colour scheme and your transmission type for your car. That's the only information they would provide. So my question back to Audi was, how do you explain the Roadster and how do you explain the manuals? So today Audi have come back to me with some more information and an explanation behind the Roadster. And believe it or not, they classify the Roadster as a different colour to this car. Now it's definitely Papaya. Both cars are Papaya, and you park them next to each other and they are the same. However, this one is classified as X3X3. The Papaya Roadster is classified as X3PA. And this is because it's a different colour car. How can it be a different colour car? Well, they classify the Roadster as having a black roof. Well, I think it's pretty safe to say, yes, we're well aware that the roof is black because it's got a black hood, but that doesn't really say it's a different colour car because the bit that's painted is still Papaya. So on this latest response from Audi, I have the actual facts. And this information comes from the Audi Paint exclusive team. They have said they've checked the mentioned VIN number and they said the customer is right. Well, I know that. The Roadster is painted in Papaya Orange. We know that too. They have double checked the figures on the 42 coupes they stated to me were in Papaya Orange and they found the mistake. And that goes back to the X3X3 for the paint for the coupe and the X3PA for the Roadster with the black roof. So they agree their initial evaluation was wrong and they've given me a new total of cars, and the new total of cars for all Papaya cars of the Audi TT Mark 1 stands at 51. Now, of these 51 cars, 9 of them were the Roadster, and were able to break down the Roadster even further. There were 2 1.8 turbo Roadsters and 7 3.2 V6 Roadsters. So that leads us nicely on to the coupes, the 42 coupes that were mentioned, and it's been confirmed, yes, 39 of those cars were the 3.2 V6 and 3 of those cars were in fact the 1.8 turbo. There still hasn't been a clarification of how many were manuals and DSG gearboxes, but I will at least take the fact that I know there are 51 Papaya Audi TT Mark 1s in existence or were produced for the UK market. And it's been my privilege to share that information with you particularly if you are an Audi TT Mark 1 Papaya driver yourself. Now, numbers of cars left they're not able to provide me with, but it's handy to know that information and how to get hold of that if you too own a rare colour car and you need to find out how many cars were produced. So to recap, I sent an email to UK customer service and Germany customer service providing my VIN number and details about my car and asking for the numbers that were produced for the UK market. Now, I'm well aware there's more Papaya cars in the UK than just the UK produced cars, as there are several that have been imported from Japan. And that's because the conditions of the car are much better out there because they are not exposed to the elements like the UK cars are. However, you can normally spot these Japanese import cars because the number plate recess in the rear bumper is much smaller, more like the US spec bumpers, and you also get the same thing on the front bumper. So me personally, I'm really pleased to know that I own such a rare car originally, with only 42 being produced, and one of those is going to continue to live on in my collection. And hopefully you've enjoyed my investigation to find out how many Papaya Audi TTs were produced for the UK market. And if you have enjoyed this video, then please do give it a thumbs up, and also think about subscribing to my channel if you've not already done so, where you'll find a whole host of content on the Audi TT Mark 1 and particularly my beautiful Papaya 3.2 V6 Coupe. As always, thanks for watching. See you soon. Take care.